Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. Today's episode is extremely exciting for me. We have a guest coming back because we're talking about a red coat, a desert wind, and that guitar riff. Yes, it is the Trigun episode, and I'm here with the winner of Ears versus AI, the anime soundtrack showdown, GoPro Kyo.
That's me. I won.
Yes.
I beat the AI. We don't have to use it anymore.
Until the next game show, we don't have to use it anymore. That's correct. GoPro Kyo, obviously the podcast artist and a huge Trigun fan. We've spoken at length about Trigun. You've introduced me to this thing. And finally, we look at the soundtrack of Trigun. How are we feeling, Kyo?
It is probably some of the best anime music ever made, in my opinion.
I like that. I like being able to talk to someone who's that passionate about it, who's that in love with the music that we're about to be on the cusp of. But before any of that, one must thank the sponsor of JaianMusic Notes, Laser Audio Technologies. They make creative effects plugins, and if you use code JaianMusic, you get 30% off at checkout, and every dollar generated from that code goes straight back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all the artwork. Like I said, Kyo.
Please pay me so I can feed my Arby's addiction.
Yes, this is all good causes. So the first jumping point for me here I love to go into is talk about one, and hopefully we don't butcher this, Tsuneo Imahori. I'm not going to ask you to rename that a bunch of times, but really the one at the head of the music of Trigun. It's not a household name like a Yoko Kanno or Joyce.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
no.
It's not as popular or mainstream.
I don't know if I could name anything else that he's made other than Trigun.
Yeah.
Between him and what was the name? I just the other person.
Hisaishi, Joe Hisaishi.
Cowboy Bebop actor.
Yeah. I wanted to say that for me, obviously the music in this 1998 anime, and also did the music for Badlands Rumble, the movie. Known for HT, the Blue Funk, Love and Peace, all just the vibe and mix of rock, jazz, electronic sounds. Man, this is some phenomenal work by Tsuneo. Let's just take it from an original point here. What do you feel like in comparison to works in bebop that Tsuneo was involved with, compared to the sound and the influence of this Trigun soundtrack, really on a general scale here? No need to deep dive anything just yet.
I guess to summarize the general vibe of the soundtrack overall is definitely blues inspired, maybe a little bit of jazz. There's some you'll occasionally hear some jazz tracks kind of in the background of when they're in a saloon or an inn or something. You'll probably hear that kind of music. But I think the biggest inspiration you would probably find in there is that it's most definitely inspired by country rock, 90s punk rock, and probably a little bit of I'd say a little bit of blues and jazz, I think.
Yeah. What's cool is that it's a jazz ensemble, but we are in such a Western soundtrack. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the intention is for it to be something that a lot of Western, or specifically when I say Western, I don't mean Western Hemisphere. I mean Western as in the genre. So Western would be cowboys, Indians. Just Old West, yeah, spaghetti Western type stuff.
Post-apocalyptic, I got a red coat, I can blow some stuff up with my arm. Old West.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
It's very space Western, which is a genre that I did not realize that I needed so much until this was one I've said before on some other episodes, but Trigun was my first like adult anime that I ever got into.
Right. So, furthermore, I really like the familiar sounds of Trigun. I'm speaking like those dusty guitars, those like saloon pianos, the harmonicas. But then we got we have like world building. Outside of like what I just named, do you feel like the world building in the Trigun soundtrack is done well via like these instruments?
Yeah, I think the music definitely complements the more like dusty kind of grungy vibe that it has. So the idea is that this is supposed to be like kind of a futuristic setting. So the idea that like blues and jazz and like other like rock and other genres that kind of complement the rest of the show up are kind of it kind of makes sense to me, because like this music is something that tends to persist through generations. Like in the past 10 years, I think swing and old like 1920s 30s jazz has kind of come back a little bit through like stuff like Spotify, and like just general music streaming has kind of kept older styles of music alive. So like in that sense, I think that the idea that the music that you hear in Trigun is kind of harkening back to a time that doesn't exist anymore, to kind of helps establish it as futuristic, but it still is paying homage to the roots of the theming and the style that it's going for.
I totally understand what you mean. The other thing too for me here, I kind of want to like go to like the opening statement of Trigun. Trigun, an anime that kid was like, you have to watch. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, okay, Kyo, I'll try this.
Waiting for you to come up with a different different anagram besides bread.
Sliced bread. It's incredible. I bet you Vash could slice some bread with his powers. Anyways.
Yeah, the knife boot.
True. So it's a great OVA. You should watch it.
Knife boot.
It's great OVA. Great content. Yeah. The opening statement, HT. This opening track is like just everything. It just like shows up, hard guitar. We got obviously Imahori doing programming guitar. We got drums by Masafumi Minato, and we have electric bass by Takaki Suzuki. It's just rock forward, relentless. It's like a simple riff that feels like almost punk to me.
Yeah, I get a lot of like 90s punk vibe from it. Like it's using an electric guitar in a Western is already kind of strange just on a bass level, because usually you'll hear like an acoustic, because the old like rustic sound like resonates with the like look of the towns usually. So like every Western like takes place in a small town, so like the acoustic guitar kind of gives you that woody like rustic old-timey feel, but the electric guitar helps it feel more modern, but it also feels more in line with like the sci-fi element. So it's kind of a nice in between sci-fi and Western, which is something that the show is like really trying to go for its style.
Why does this track like represent Vash so well? Because like obviously we've seen him in the visuals of like, it's basically like Vash the intro.
Yeah. Well, like the other thing is that like I also noticed that it's like one of the few anime intros that doesn't have any lyrics. Like there's no like vocals to the song.
No, we just going in.
Like, like there's no there's no song there. It's just the music is like speaking, like this is kind of giving you like this is the vibe of the show, and this is what it's gonna be like through the whole thing. So that buckle up.
I went to the deep dive here with this track. I listened to the Destroying Angel mix of HT, and
Yeah.
that thing blew my mind.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It sounds phenomenal, but like, who in the what in the drums in the remix? Like, oh, like we just start with like, you feel like it's Aphex Twin who did it. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about when I say Aphex Twin, but it's like this electronic musician who's just known for like insane drum patterns and just like very like complex, like over the top, phenomenal artist. But this thing, like, you got like the first 20 seconds, you're just like, okay, like, I think you left your drum machine on and it's like all mistaken. And then like 20 seconds in, you're like, da 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 da. You're like, whoa, wait, whoa, 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 wait. Where we got Vash? What you doing in there, bro? What you doing in there? And it just picks up and dive bombs and just tip top chop. Like I felt like it's almost like a fast cypher track at some point. Like I was so like astounded by this. What do you think of like the darker, more electronic version of this remix?
I think that's pretty in line with like the show's kind of vibe. Like just the like there's definitely like this kind of like fun energy to the original series, and especially with the music. But the idea, I like the idea of kind of a darker remix, like something that sounds a little more industrial. It kind of, I think that also complements the diesel punk type future that the show is trying to get across, and it definitely fits with the overall vibe of the show. Like just this like there's still like that element of fun and excitement, but it's also it's also kind of showing that side where it's like this is still kind of a messed up world, but there's still like joy to be found in the in this remix that they put out.
Absolutely. It just kind of gave me a vibe of the track Note Beat in Trigun.
Yeah.
Like it's from the first Donut, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
like this
that album.
Yeah, the snappy drumming. Like I just wasn't expecting such a Western anime to have like something you almost find like in a random like bar in Tokyo.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure that was also intentional, because like there's a pretty like there's kind of an underground like punk culture in Japan. Like they eat that shit up. Like if you've ever heard of like Devil May Cry, like I feel like that's a pretty good example of like Japanese punk culture. Like the guy who directed those games like is very clearly like into that kind of aesthetic, that kind of music. Just it. Thing is, I think it's a little more Western centric, because like a lot of America was very influential in terms of like punk metal, like stuff like Simple Plan or Sum 41, just a lot of that like early 2000s like pop punk type of music.
Absolutely. It's like, and those are, you're talking about the bands that like shaped my high school, bro. Like,
yeah, like I feel like there's definitely like an element of that in there.
Like just that, like
this was definitely like a late 90s thing, I think.
Listen, I'm just hopping around. Like I when I recorded the One Piece episode with Hotshot, I was like, we'll just like hop from soundtrack to soundtrack here, however we see fit. And he said something to the effect of like, I live by the shuffle, and I'm definitely gonna live by the shuffle on this episode. That
does sound like a Ginger quote.
It is a Ginger quote. Who came in second place for who could not be defeated by who was defeated, pardon me, by the champion of Earth versus AI, the anime soundtrack showdown. Great episode, go check it out. There's another track for me that really stood out, just because like when I was flipping through these songs, I was like, oh, instrumental. And then there's a little track called Sound Life Rem. Just started playing, And I was like, "Ooh, nice little instrumentation. Oh, okay, I like where we're going with this. Like, just like these strings, a little bit of synthesizer, little strumming guitar. I'm like, okay, I see the vibe. Like Vash, like walking through the town, and then about like 45 seconds left, 45 seconds in, like I just get this vocal, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? What are we doing? And I absolutely love this track. It like is put together so nicely. Definitely the type of track that if like I were to see like some sort of Trigun original soundtrack concert, like it's gonna be part of it, guaranteed. I don't know if you know exactly which song I'm referring to here, Kyo, but like maybe if you could take a minute, even like give it a quick listen here. But like Sound Life Rem, iconic. Obviously associated to Rem the character, which is like a whole other like super powerful part. What it is for me is that this song was well sang, well produced, and just like representative of this like inner peace that you find in Trigun, because there's obviously that duality for Vash being like someone who's like really good-hearted, but also like is wanted for a stupid amount of double dollars and is like therefore a menace. But this song like just encapsulates like the peace, the love, the like calmness that the Trigun anime like definitely has. Like it has space for like these crazy drummy tracks, these crazy rock tracks, but like it's nicely balanced out with the sonic palette of like more relaxed, like put together like almost ballads.
I think I do think the intention is for it to like somewhat like mimic Rem's character a little bit, like the very nature loving, very nurturing, like kind-hearted character that she is. And I think the song is very much like mirroring of her character and just her role in the story, and how just how like how influential her character is to like the story overall.
Yeah, absolutely. She's like taught Vash like everything about life and the value of life, and is structured as this like overarching character, and it's the type of song that's like super emotional when you know what happens with Rem. I'm not gonna spoil obviously here because I really want to focus on the soundtrack. Like let me re-ask my question like this: like listening to like a little chunk that you just listened to, and like having in mind the fate of Rem, like how does this song like fit that type of moment and that type of like echo in the anime? Because it's definitely a resonating part of the storyline.
I think it's the like kind of ethereal electronic nature of it that just the way that it is. It's both a nature-esque type of sound, but it's also the electronic part of it kind of fits with like the spacefaring like life that she had for a while, like with how she was on the ship for so long. So like it kind of influences her character as well. So I think the idea is to kind of have sort of a mix of those two themes to kind of get across the just Rem's general like vibe.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And what's your thoughts like? Let me, because we're kind of just like circling around like this whole album here, the first soundtrack of Trigun, like the first donuts, Trigun, the first donuts. The name of that, like just the whole concept of naming an album, the first donuts. 20 tracks, produced by obviously Tsuneo Imahori. Just like any thoughts you had on like the conceptualization of this album, and like specifically its name too, because it's such a there's no donut on the cover.
I also like the impossible like Spider-Man shaped pose that Vash is in for the cover. By the way, just like the sticking the leg over the arm. That's only a Spider-Man type of pose that he would do.
Illustration by one Yasuhiro Naito.
That would be the manga author.
Yeah. But I was looking. There's this website. This is a little bit of inside baseball for Kia. I won't try to bore you too much, but this is fun for the music nerds. So maybe you'll enjoy this. There's this website called Discogs. Imagine my anime list, but for music. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
For releases of songs. And
that sounds amazing.
yeah, you should look at it at discogs.com. And so it gives you the whole track list, and it's interesting because you can like see like specific credits. This one is like labeled as a pop and stage and screen release. I believe that stage and screen music is like a genre that's like specifically associated with like musicals, soundtracks, plays, and those types of scores. So we're talking like Grease the movie, like all those types of like any anime music will fall into this category. Obviously released in the US under the label of Jin Neon, and it's got 20 total tracks. Starts with No Beat, obviously, and ends with Perfect Night. And the company's it was recorded at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 different studios, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, okay.
And it was published.
Interesting.
Yeah, published by Victor Entertainment Incorporated. And we got acoustic guitar, bass, cello, drums, lots of engineer assistance on separate tracks. So that lets me know that like this thing was conceptualized and like passed around a lot on 1998. Like lots of like bounces and like boom and boom and my version of your version of this version, like version 12 type of thing. Flute, percussion, piano, of course, saxophone on tracks 2, 8, 14, and 19. And it's just really interesting to just see like the different like
it's interesting when you see like a show's like overall like their music library of like what kind of instruments they used when like people kind of have like a preconception of what like a certain soundtrack should include, like based on the show or the movie that it's from. So like most people would assume that, like, say, just as an example, that you wouldn't hear like a guitar like in a Star Wars movie or something like that. But there's a whole like TV show that uses the like the space western like guitar, which is the I think it's the Mandalorian TV show that uses the guitar, like, and I think they kind of avoid it a little bit, but there are definitely some places where like you'll hear an occasional like the little like doing 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 doing, like just the western twang type of sound. Like you kind of have to if you're gonna do a show that's set like that.
And you know what's so funny about this? I'm like reading. So this album had 9 different physical releases.
Oh yeah,
and
I think it's had a few runarounds here and there. Like I think there's been a couple of different releases
and
for
unofficial ones, and 4 of those unofficial ones released in Taiwan. Yeah, there was
maybe they like their Trigun in Taiwan. I don't know.
There was also a reissue by Flying Dog Incorporated in Japan in 2024. Super interesting. That let's maybe like end on this like before we like obviously we're gonna cover the rest of the soundtrack and everything.
Yeah.
The fact that this thing gets a re-release from 98 in 2024 in Japan, like just let's speak to like the cultural impact of this first album, even though it's not like a, how can I say, it's not a Kano composition or a Joe Hisaishi composition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like your thoughts.
I think the fact that Imahari is a kind of a little unknown, I think that helps the soundtrack a little bit too. Like I think like him being a little bit underground kind of helps that vibe stay authentic. Like I think I think that him being not necessarily like a really big name kind of helps sell the idea of the soundtrack, like being underground and being more punk and just like and kind of fitting into that world of music. I think
absolutely. I love the way you put that. And I also like found out it's like under the Anisan music description. So it means born near the very start of the modern anime industry. This style consists of soundtrack themes and scores for or from anime. Anisan wasn't recognized genre until the 80s. When a song
really
whatever the song is from the anime Macross found mainstream success, reaching 7th place on the Oricon singles charts in 1984. Just like really interesting to think that like 14 years later you got like big releases from like the Trigun soundtrack. Anyways, I'm totally nerding out at this point. Like this is like
just like the 90s like boom of anime with like stuff like Bebop, Dragon Ball, just all that early like late 90s stuff that just really like propelled anime into what it is now. Like we would not have it without that show back in the 80s.
Absolutely. Let's for this is gonna be part 1. Let's pause it here, Keo. Let's because obviously in part 2 Keo and I have a lot more to discuss. I want to definitely tackle the second Donut Happy Pack. Yes, that is the album name, and a lot more. I think this one was a lot weird of an album, but I'll save my thoughts for then. Keo, where can people find you online?
Sorry, I'm looking at the album art right now. On my phone.
Keep those thoughts for yourself.
The little faces make me happy.
Well, it's a Happy Pack.
You guys can find me online on Newgrounds under GoPro Kyo, and you can also find me on the YouTube channel Project Shuriken, where I put out the Naruto Bridge series done by myself and a few other folks. You can also find me on Blue Sky at GoPro Kyo. And that's all the places you can find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Keo. Reminder to everyone that the podcast is sponsored by Laser Audio Technologies. Use code JaianMusic. Get 30% off at checkout for some creative effects plugins. A big thank you to you, Keo, for the artwork, of course. All of your links will be in the description. JaianMusic.com is my website, and you can always follow the podcast in your favorite podcatcher. JaianMusic Notes, and I am at JaianMusic on social media. That'll be it for today. We will see you next week for our part 2.